Delta 7 to command. We have code red at primary location. Initiating lockdown protocol. The words came out of Charlie's mouth like muscle memory, even though he hadn't used those call signs in 15 years. The 911 dispatcher paused, confused by the military terminology. But Charlie wasn't talking to dispatch anymore. He was talking to the part of himself that had never left the battlefield. The part that knew exactly how to turn a school into a fortress. Welcome to the Human Stories. Before we begin this powerful story of leadership, hidden past, and protection, tell me in the comments, what city are you watching from today? And if you believe stories like this need to be remembered, hit that subscribe button and help us make sure they are. The corner of Madison Elementary, where Main Street met School Avenue, played host to the same scene every morning. Yellow school buses would slowly line up, parents would drop off their children from cars, and Charlie Matthews would stand in his usual spot. 65 years old, medium height, grey-haired man, bright orange safety vest, white helmet, red stop sign. He'd been standing on the same corner for 3 years, ensuring thousands of children crossed the street safely. No one knew his full name. They just called him Uncle Charlie. That morning was like any other. He arrived at his post at 7:15, checked his equipment, began greeting the first students. Emily, 2nd grade, always came with her mother. Marcus, 4th grade, alone on his bicycle. Sarah and Jessica, twin sisters, always running up each morning. "Good morning, Uncle Charlie," they would say. "Good morning, kids." Charlie would respond in his calm voice. "Let's cross safely today too." Parents knew him, but none engaged in long conversations with him. He was polite, reliable, quiet. They assumed he was retired. Maybe a former teacher, maybe a factory worker. No one asked, and he never told. But Charlie's eyes never rested. He constantly scanned his surroundings. The speed of cars, driver's attention, children's behavior. As if searching for danger. As if he had to be ready at all times. Charlie Matthews' real name was Charles Matthews. He had joined the army in 1978. Military police, 3 deployments, 2 promotions, dozens of dangerous missions. His last assignment was in Iraq, 2005 to 2007. As military base security commander, there he had learned to sense danger beforehand, to recognize car bombs, to direct civilians to safe areas, to maintain order in the midst of chaos, and most importantly, to value other people's lives more than his own. After retiring, he had quietly moved to Madison. A small house, large garden, no trouble with anyone. But 3 years ago, when he saw the school crossing job, he had applied. Not for the money, but for purpose. Because protecting those children was in his DNA. Every morning he followed the same routine. 7 o'clock leave home, 7:15 at duty station. He did the traffic cop's job, but mentally he always maintained tactical analysis. Which cars were suspicious, which people weren't behaving normally, where to direct children in an emergency. It never happened, never was needed. Until that Wednesday morning, it was 7:45. The last group of students was running late. Charlie had safely helped them across and was preparing to lower his stop sign. A normal morning, a normal day. Then came the sound, rising from the school, sharp, continuous alarm. Lockdown alarm. Charlie's blood froze, but his body immediately sprang into action. Reflexes learned 30 years ago. First he scanned the perimeter. School building, entrance doors, parked cars. Anything abnormal, suspicious movement, unfamiliar vehicle. Second, he did a head count. How many children, how many adults in front of the school? Who was at risk? Who was in a safe position? Third, he determined escape routes. Which direction to flee? Which direction for protection? Which point was safe? He did all this in 3 seconds. Then he reached for his radio. Charlie had a radio on his belt. It wasn't standard crossing guard equipment. Old, military model, frequency adjustable. He never used it, just carried it with him, in case. Delta 7 to command, we have code red at primary location. Initiating lockdown protocol. The words came out automatically. Even though 15 years had passed, he remembered the call sign, Delta 7, his own unit, his own call sign. The 911 operator was confused. "Sir, what did you say? Could you repeat?" That in plain English. But Charlie wasn't talking to them. He was talking to himself, to his old military identity, to the commander who assessed situations and prepared for action. A gunshot came from the school entrance. Single shot, then screams. Charlie didn't freeze, didn't panic. He acted as he had learned 30 years ago in Iraq. "All civilians fall back," he shouted, his voice in command tone. "Children to me, now." Charlie had a map in his mind. School building, surrounding streets, escape routes. The tactical plan he had unconsciously developed over 3 years. Primary threat, inside the school. Armed person, most likely on the ground floor. Safe area, behind the school parking lot, fenced area, easy police access. Civilians under protection. 12 children, 8 parents, in front of the school. "Mrs. Peterson," Charlie shouted to Sarah's mother. "Take the children to the other side." Now, Mrs. Peterson seemed frozen. "What's happening, Charlie? I know Trojan monoxide. We will not be stationary targets." Charlie's tone had changed. He was no longer the gentle crossing guard. He was a commander. Parents obeyed Charlie's authority without question. In crisis, people seek natural leaders, and leadership flowed from Charlie's being. "Mr. Johnson," Charlie turned to Marcus's father. "Give me your car keys. We may need to transport children." But Charlie keys. Now, Johnson complied. Charlie then looked at Emily's mother, Linda. "Mrs. Williams, you call 911. Tell them this, armed attacker at Madison Elementary. School is in lockdown. External security coordinated by Charlie Matthews. Understood." Linda nodded, grabbed her phone. Charlie moved the children away from the school building, behind the parking area. He positioned parents, lookout points, early warning system, escape route preparation. "Tommy, you're the oldest," he said to 4th grader Tommy. "Hold the little kid's hands. No one runs, no one yells." Tommy nodded. Charlie's voice had calmed him, controlled, safe, prepared. Charlie then turned to Mrs. Henderson. "Ma'am, is your husband a police officer?" "Yes, but call him. Tell him to come to Madison Elementary. Perimeter is secure, but coordination needed." Charlie was executing his strategy. Internal security for police, external security for himself. Civilian protection, priority. Tactical position, secondary. More sounds came from the school building. Running footsteps, doors slamming, shouts beneath the alarm sound. Charlie reached for his old radio again. "Delta 7 to command. Civilian protection complete. We are in secure position. Awaiting response forces." Mrs. Peterson was watching Charlie carefully. His command-giving, organization, how he controlled every detail that couldn't be missed. This wasn't an ordinary school crossing guard. "Charlie," she said quietly, "were you a soldier?" Charlie looked at her. The identity he had hidden for 3 years had emerged during the crisis. No need to hide it anymore. Once upon a time, he said. Which unit? Military police. Iraq, security commander. Mrs. Peterson's eyes widened. You were a real soldier. Still am a soldier, Charlie said calmly. Just don't have the uniform. At that moment, the sound of sirens came. Police cars, ambulance, SWAT team. Charlie saw them approaching the school entrance. He reached for his radio one last time. Delta 7 to command. Reinforcements have arrived. Transferring operational control. Civilians safe and ready. When the first police car came to Charlie's side, Sergeant Williams got out. He had an expression expecting authority. Sir, are you the one responsible for the civilians? Charlie met him with proper posture. Yes, Sergeant. 20 civilians, 12 children, in safe position, accounted for. Williams looked at Charlie's posture, language, organization. Do you have military background, sir? Military police, retired. Sergeant First Class Charlie Matthews. Williams nodded respectfully. Sergeant, could I get a situation report? Charlie gave him a complete tactical report. Time of attack, civilian positions, escape routes, safe areas, contact numbers. Williams took notes. Everything was perfectly coordinated. Sergeant Matthews. Williams said, thanks to you, there are no civilian casualties. Professional work. Charlie nodded. Just did my duty. The incident lasted 2 hours. The attacker was captured. No one was injured. Charlie's external security coordination allowed police forces to focus on inside the school. As parents picked up their children, they looked at Charlie differently. He was no longer just the kind crossing guard. He was the man who saved their lives. Mrs. Peterson approached him. Charlie, for 3 years we thought we knew you, but we never knew you at all. Charlie smiled. You knew me. I've always been the same man. You just saw a different side of me today. Why didn't you ever mention it? Your military background? Charlie looked around. Children were safely reuniting with their families. Parents were hugging each other. The school was secure. Because I'm not here for the past, he said. I'm here for the future. For these children. The next day, Charlie stood on the same corner again. But now everyone knew him. Children approached him with respect. Parents thanked him. The school principal, Mrs. Clark, approached him. Charlie, the leadership you showed yesterday, have you ever thought about working as a security coordinator? Charlie shook his head. Thank you, Mrs. Clark. But I want to be here, on this corner. I want to make sure children cross safely, every day. But you were a military commander. You could do bigger things. Charlie smiled. Mrs. Clark, there's no bigger job than this. These children are our future. Protecting them is the most important duty. Walking home that day, Charlie took out the old radio from his pocket. He hadn't used it in a long time. Maybe he never would again, but he would continue carrying it with him, because he had never really retired. Just his area of duty had changed. Instead of tanks, school buses. Instead of soldiers, children. Instead of battlefields, school corners. But the duty was the same. Protect, serve, and when necessary, be ready for war. CO and CO Ucio and Charlie Matthews never wanted recognition. He never wanted to tell heroic stories. He just wanted children to go to school safely. Every day, every morning, every student. But that Wednesday morning, his ordinary duty on the corner turned into a life-saving operation, and everyone saw that real protectors don't need uniforms. They just need to be ready. Charlie's radio is quiet now, but his heart still beats. Because protectors never rest, they just wait. Ready and waiting, and the next morning he'll be on the same corner again. To help children cross safely, because that's his duty, that's his identity, that's his name. Charlie Matthews, crossing guard. And when necessary, Commander. Now I ask you, do you know someone like Charlie? Someone who appears ordinary but shows leadership in critical moments. Write their name in the comments. Share their story. Because at the Human Stories, no hero should be forgotten. Thank you for watching. If this story touched you, subscribe, share, help keep these voices alive. We'll see you in the next one. And until then, if you see an old man standing quietly on a school corner, watch his posture. You might be standing next to a legend. Disselim. This video is a fictional narrative created for emotional, inspirational, and entertainment purposes only. The characters, events, and situations portrayed are entirely imaginary or dramatized, and should not be interpreted as factual representations of real-life individuals or events. Any resemblance to actual persons, living or dead, or real situations, is purely coincidental. This content is not intended to offend, deceive, or cause harm. Viewer discretion is advised.